Welcome to Community Convener, the official podcast of the Henry County Chamber of Commerce. My name is Joseph Henning, and I'm President and CEO for the Chamber. Welcome to this very first episode of Community Convener. This podcast is all about bringing you the people, the programs, and the progress, driving business growth and community connections right here in Henry County. Kicking things off with a packed episode today, we are celebrating recent milestones from our Business Resource Center, spotlighting some of our incredible members and volunteers, sharing can't-miss upcoming events, and updates from the Henry Reporter and Visit Henry. So grab a coffee and let's dive in. On today's episode, our feature segment is on the Business Resource Center, a hub for collaboration, innovation, and connection right here in Henry County. All right, so we want to discuss a bit about the Business Resource Center here. And I have my guest, Sharon Ponder, with us. And Sharon and I have a long history of this resource center. So welcome, Sharon. Tell us a little bit about how the idea started.
Basically, I have the unique opportunity of being able to represent two organizations here in Henry County. One being a very large company, Bennett International Group, which is a 50-year-old company that's well established and well known throughout the country, as well as my husband and I started a small entertainment company called Extreme Fun on Wheels. And I saw when I first started being very active in the chamber, a lot of our programming was curtailed towards that larger segment of the business community. And my goal when I was elected chair is, what are we doing for the small businesses? What resources are we giving those small businesses so when they get that annual renewal, they're like, okay, I got to renew this and not just be about one ribbon cutting and then canceling my membership. What resources are we providing for them so they're like, okay, I have to renew my membership because I am getting XYZ out of the chamber. So some of those early conversations was the space that we're in now was being utilized by a nonprofit. Of course, can't take a nonprofit out.
Right.
But I was saying to myself that would be an ideal location, is right next door to the chamber so that we can continue to monitor it, make sure that it's growing and flourishing. But at the time, that just didn't kind of happen like that.
Right.
Yeah.
I will say, yes, I started in 2019 and we had these conversations, and now we're at 2025 and we are in our second year, I believe, just started our third year this month. So it did take a bit.
Yes.
It did take a bit. What are some of those highlights of what we've been able to accomplish for the first couple of years of this that we're providing that you think people need to know about?
Basically, just access to co-work space. In the past, people used to always want to have their brick and mortar locations, and that was the gamut of defining whether or not you had a business. That's no longer the case. A lot of people are starting their businesses out of their homes, and they're very legitimate businesses. But there are some times and some opportunities where you may need a place to go and just to, whether it's, collaborating with other business leaders or just having your own space there so you can kind of get out of your environment or being in your home. So again, being able to provide those type of spaces. Also, one of the most important things is training and education. We have had so many programs and training sessions here around skill development in the areas of marketing, sales, financial literacy, just making sure that we're providing them with all the training that they need. Also, advisory services, whether it's a one-on-one mentoring program or having some programming where we're letting people know how they can do businesses with different municipalities, or maybe even the water authority, just being able to provide all of those type of advisory services. And then finally, technology resources, whether it's, coming here to, connect to the Wi-Fi, our copier, and now this lovely podcast room. So again, just, providing that small business all the resources that they need to be successful.
I agree. I appreciate that. I think it's one of those projects that we started knowing that there was a need, but identifying how we phased it.
Yes.
And is there, we started with the co-work space, the 2 community rooms, the 3 offices, and that this is phase 2 now with the studio. And was there anything that you would have done different looking back and how we phased this together and how we brought together what we have as resources so far?
I really don't think so. I think it's important that as you grow, anything that you're adding on to your organization or your business is you don't want it to go too fast and it looks like it's failing. So basically, we did it, very methodical and say, okay, what are some of those first initial meetings needs? So basically, again, being able to provide some co-work space. So we have a tenant that started with us, very early on that's still here.
Mm-hmm.
She has a very successful business, but again, being able to provide that workspace and giving her access to all of the resources that we have here in this office. So again, kind of starting it off slow and just watching the programming grow. And now we have something that we can glean on and be able to say, hey, come to our resource center because we're already having these. And, again, just seeing some of those earlier programming, just again, fill up. And now we're almost outgrowing some of the spaces that and some of the events that we already have.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's pretty it's definitely successful in that it's more successful, I think, than we anticipated
Yes,
at this point.
exactly.
Yes, yes. I think we like you said, we've got the tenants in here. All three of the offices are fully rented. The consultant hours and services and that is through the roof. I think we're hitting on goals that we had anticipated 5 years down the
Yes,
road rather than 2 years down the road. And so to say that it's being embraced is an understatement.
yes.
Um, let's talk a little bit about the funding behind it and the support that we're seeing from some of our partner agencies in that. And one of them is Kaiser Permanente.
Yes.
They have long been a key supporter of the Chamber's programs, from community dialogues to some of our different events. But there's one that's also near and dear to our hearts, and it's that mentorship program.
Yes.
So you are a mentor in that first cohort.
I am.
Yeah. And how are you enjoying that for you first? How does that help you?
Basically, I feel like in any program or anything that you go into, you can learn just as much as the person that you are doing the teaching to. So again, just being able to collaborate with my mentee and find out what all of her needs are. And I understand that I have some strengths because again, I am an accountant. So the financial perspective of it, I am very heavily into making sure that I walk through her budgets and things of that nature. But one of the things that she's doing is more in the AI technology space. That's not my wheelhouse. So again, being able to pull on the resources of some of the other chamber members and say, okay, for your IT needs and your technology needs, I'm going to connect you with this person. For your capital needs, I'm going to connect you with this. And again, just a collaboration amongst the other chamber members that are well developed and established, being able to connect those people with the young entrepreneurs that are starting their own businesses right
Yeah.
now.
Yeah. I think a lot of times when people think of a mentorship program, their assumption, I guess, is that the mentor does all the work.
Yes.
But the mentees in this program are doing a heavy lift.
Yes. Yes.
The 10 mentors we have in this first cohort are absolutely outstanding. But the fact that you all are giving your time and expertise to the program, I can't thank you all enough. And as we go, again, we started small, we started with 10. But what do some of those lifts look like that these mentees are doing? Yours, for instance, you said that she's trying to get into AI in that. So how do we all know where she's going with that? How does she know where she's going?
First of all, applaud the fact that once we tried to start this mentoring program, there was a whole development training session in the beginning. Because again, if you don't know how to mentor, then it can, fail miserably. So basically, we had a wonderful, like a half-day training session so that we knew as mentors how we needed to go through this process. And because again, especially if you don't know, you may find yourself enabling and you end up doing all the work,
Yes.
or you're sitting there and you're telling them everything. And that's not the process of this. This is supposed to start getting those young entrepreneur minds to say, okay, what are my next steps? What are the baby steps? And so that I can get something accomplished and I don't get so overwhelmed. So again, it's us guiding them. It's more the guided leadership than us telling them what to do or where to go. So again, as they're coming up with their goals, we set goals very early on, try to figure out where we wanted to go with this. And so we're figuring out step by step, what do we need to do with this? And then I kind of guide and say, okay, based off of this, these are some of the things you probably need to look into. And then she actually goes out and again, do the work, make sure she does her development plan. She's going to have to follow up with some some of the names that I've given her. I can give it to you, but I'm not going to set up the meeting. So
Absolutely.
again, she's able to set herself up to be successful because she's doing the heavy lift. And so what we're doing is like I said before, doing kind of more of that guided mentorship.
Absolutely. And I think as we look at an open house for cohort number 2, what do you say to those that are thinking about the program, whether they're mentors or mentees? Because we do need to get us some more mentors, because you all still have 6 months left on
Yes.
that first class.
Yes.
What would you say to the mentor to get them interested?
I would say for those that are considering being mentors, just understand you will get so much out of this. It just helps my heart when I can kind of tell my mentee something and you can kind of see that light bulb goes off.
Yeah.
Like, oh, wow, you're right. I didn't think about that. And just what you can develop and grow out of this. And I think we, as more established people that are in the business community, whether you're on your own business or you're just a leader at a corporation, we have to start working on that next generation of leaders and upcoming business owners in the community. So what I would say is be willing to give back to the community. Again, this isn't a heavy lift, but I promise you it'll be well worth any time that you put into this program.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. One last question that I have, and then, I want you to share anything that you want to share. As we look at this being phase 2 with the podcast studio, we are outgrowing the space. We've talked a bit about expanding in the building. What else would you like to see in the Business Resource Center?
I think, Joe, when you first came here as CEO, one of the first tasks that I gave you was to send out a survey to our membership because my goal then as chair over the chamber is I never want to make an assumption of what our membership needs. So I say as we go to that next phase, let's not reinvent the wheel. Let's ask our membership. Let's ask the people that are utilizing this space, what would you like to see here in our next phase? Again, we've listened to you. We provided you with the programming that you wanted. So what is going to be that next phase? And then continue to collaborate with our business partners in the community to provide that. We don't have to always reinvent the
Right.
wheel. We don't always have to come up with all of our programming, but we have some very intelligent people in this chamber that can help provide some of that. But again, we can't collaborate like we're going to with the Better Business Bureau, that we're going to be able to start, utilizing some of their services as well so that we can do a holistic view of everything and provide all of the resources that I feel like our small business community needs.
Wonderful. Yeah, I agree. I think, we are blessed with a very solid team, but I don't want to break their backs with adding
Correct.
more work to that. And so I think as we look at what rolls out, the key strength we're going to have are those relationships that we've established. And we have SBDC that comes in. We have, as you said, the Better Business Bureau will be bringing the Bridge vehicle starting in July, and they'll have some great resources that we don't currently have available to our small businesses. But two, we have, as we've tapped you all for mentorships, we're also working with some of our members to provide some of those services. And this, as you said, survey the needs and see what the needs are of the membership. And so Judy McMurtry has done that with the mentorship program and some of the interests that those mentees have. And so she's rolled out a couple of programs monthly to support that. Some upcoming ones will be looking at strategic planning and that. And so I think as we continue to build, I would love to see this space almost that there's no question that we have to move it bigger and that, because there's so much opportunity that isn't available on the south side.
Correct.
If you go up to the north side, you'll see a lot of this, but I think right now we are probably the only resource type co-work space in the region. So I'm very proud of that. What else did I forget to tell the listeners about the program that you want to share?
Again, I just thank you for embracing my vision. I've always been passionate about small business and making sure that they have the resources that they need. So at the time, of course, we didn't have this space, but we did work with the Small Business Development Center and an organization called SCORE to start providing some mentorship and some training sessions here once a month. And the very first time that we actually had that, the appointment slots filled up within an hour. That was number one. And then two, we literally had people waiting in the lobby trying to see if someone else would cancel so they could fill that spot.
Yeah.
So that let me know then this vision that we were talking about having here was something very much, as you stated, needed here on the South Side. So just the fact that we now are providing these resources, it is not only that we're helping fulfill our mission statement and providing much needed resources for our membership, but it's going to help us to retain our membership and continue to garner more because we're now offering services that our business community truly needs. It's just wonderful, whether it's, people coming in with our coffee and collaboration, just being able to come in here on that Tuesday morning and seeing people here and ready to share about their businesses and collaborate, or one of our leadership training classes that fills up so quickly. Like you said, we have to move it over to the Hudgins room. Or again, you just walk in here on any random day and seeing people with their laptops plugged up and they're working and they're collaborating and they're talking. Again, just providing that resource and just definitely enhancing our small business community, which is the heart of any community.
Absolutely. Thank you. So 6 years, you were okay waiting 6 years for this?
It was well worth it. It was well worth it.
Thank you.
It was well worth it.
Yeah, I remember when we started off with SCORE and SBDC and trying to figure out how we accommodated their schedules, how we could expand on that. And again, it was absolutely that showed the need. And then COVID and some of that other pieces. But I think that this is just an amazing project that we're offering, and I am excited to get to that next phase with it. I'm so pleased with the success we've seen with it.
Yes,
Absolutely.
definitely.
All right. Well, thank you, Sharon. I appreciate your time today.
Thank you.
And we will be back shortly after this message. This episode's elite member highlight is Georgia Power. Small businesses start in the towns and cities that entrepreneurs call home. Business ideas are sparked by a problem they see in their own backyards, and they're inspired to provide a service or a product that neighbors need or want. The first mentors, customers, funding, office, and storefront are typically found in their hometown, and growth begins locally. Georgia Power promotes resources that entrepreneurs need to turn their inspiration into action, highlighting how communities across the state support entrepreneurship and small business. Vibrant communities provide the programs, people, and places that help small businesses thrive alongside major employers and creating a unified growth for all. Georgia Power is committed to helping you find your place in community. They invite entrepreneurs, resource providers, and local leaders to find inspiration in the innovation, support, and success stories from towns and cities statewide. Well, welcome back to Community Convener. And right now we're going into our team highlights section, and we're welcoming Morel McCrary, board chair, CEO of Ramtech PC Solutions. And he also serves on our Emerging Business Leaders Committee and is one of our mentors for the mentorship program.
Man, Joe, that sounds like a lot of responsibility
that
you
is.
just gave me.
That is. Absolutely. Thank you for joining us. I want to first ask you, as board chair, it's been a couple months.
Sure.
What's your experience been like so far, and what can Trinity do to make it better?
So have you ever been to an amusement park?
Okay, I've heard it called worse.
Right?
Yeah.
So you go to an amusement park, you get on that first roller coaster. You know, you've walked through this park a few times because I've been on the board for several years. So you experience what the park can be like. But when you're in the front seat of that roller coaster, it's somewhat terrifying.
I can understand.
But it's fun as well.
You mentioned that you've been on the board a while, and I know you were part of the search committee when I started in 2019.
It's been that long ago?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And what advice do you have for some of our newer members or people that just trying to get the most out of their membership?
So I typically tell people, when you join the chamber, I know it's a lot. I mean, been there, done that. I've got a few t-shirts. It's a lot. The chamber is so busy and so active and has so many different programs for them to get connected and plug into. So I encourage them, even present day, I encourage them, pick 2 things out of the month, just 2. Show up, meet, show your face, and network. And you start with 2, and then before you know it, it's 6, 7, 8, you're at the chamber 10 times a month.
You got an office here.
Right.
I think that's a key piece because we have 5 employees on the chamber side and we have 4 on the CVB side. And there's so many things happening that we can't even attend them all.
Right.
That's
right.
We have to divide up and conquer. And I think that with all of that activity, you've got advocacy, you've got networking, you've got business development, professional development. And I think you just have to pick
Where
what
you
you're,
need.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As when I joined the chamber, I was a one-man team, started my IT firm at that time. And one thing they could tell me is just dive in, Morel. Just dive in. And it took a while. Like I think I was one of the ones, I raised my hand and admit, I was one of the ones that joined the chamber and didn't do anything for a whole year. And at the end, I was sitting back thinking, well, why did I join? Why did I spend this money? I've heard that from, other chamber members of, "Well, I didn't get anything out of it." Well, I wasn't putting anything into it.
Right. Right. Tell me about that experience that as a longtime business owner, member of the chamber. And I know that I think it was 2018 you received Business of the Year award.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah. And
that was a different amusement park.
Yeah. Tell me how the chamber has been involved, how you've used the chamber to find the successes that you found.
I think the chamber has used me, and let me frame that up for you. By showing up and being present at networking functions, at ribbon cuttings, at any of the things that the chamber is hosting, by showing up and being present, when I bump into people at Publix or Kroger or Target, they know my face because they associate me with the chamber.
Yeah.
So then they go, well, you have been here for many years. So what do you do? And then that's a real genuine conversation
Sure.
that I can open the door with and potentially grow my business.
Yeah. Oh, good. Good.
So I would say by showing up and being present and active, that in turn has given the business the flow it needs.
And then you get the carnival ride with it.
You do.
You're involved with a number of our activities, and I thank you for that because I know this is not your full-time gig.
No.
This should be ours.
But it's fun though.
Yeah, but you get to, I think one of the reasons I love chamber work is because you get to leave an impact on the community that you live in.
Sure.
So as a business person and a leader within the chamber and you're involved, like I said, the EBLP, the mentorship program, what do you, Morel McCrary, get out of the participation in those programs?
End all be all answer to that is relationships. You meet so many different people within many different stages of business ownership. You find out real quickly at whatever stage of business you're in, you kind of figure out, am I looking for a mentor? Am I looking to help somebody? Do I need help? Where am I weak? Can I fill that gap by meeting this person? So throughout the whole process of business ownership and personal growth, you're trying to figure out the next thing to sharpen your axe, right? Or at least you should be.
Yeah.
So as I have grown through the stages of business ownership and residents of Henry County, I've always looked on how can I strengthen myself to be the best version of me. And along with being the best version of me, builds up everyone and everything around me. My mom and dad used to tell us that, if you surround yourself with crap, you're going to end up like crap.
Yeah.
So if you surround yourself with smart people and people that are motivating you, you'll end up in a better place.
Oh, and I think that's a great point because you can do everything you can and have a strong organization. But if the leadership's not there,
yeah, it suffers.
Mm-hmm.
It suffers. And it shows. It shows through the people.
Yeah.
Because if your people don't care about the work that they're doing or they have no interest in the work that your business is providing, it's going to show.
We talked about Ramtech and your background is in tech and innovation and that.
It is.
What are you most excited about?
Oh, don't get me to nerd out.
Oh, yeah. Why not? We want to get to know you. What are you most excited about? One, for your industry, and two, for the chamber going forward?
Really, I just I'm always future thought focused. And anybody that knows me will tell you, if you're not growing, you're dying.
That's right.
So what I look at, and tech is surrounded, we're surrounded by technology everywhere we go. From smartphones to, anything, what we're doing right now. Yeah. It's crazy how much technology has evolved around us and we've allowed it. And I foresee with, everybody's talking about AI and introducing AI into everything. And I foresee as we grow as a society and what that looks like for the chamber, we have to stay cutting edge as well. We have to make sure that the chamber is embracing the change. And I think, again, change has always happened.
I think that's a great point because if we want to brand ourselves that we're the leaders in the business community,
which we are, by the way,
we are, but we couldn't be that if we weren't staying on top of
That's true.
changes and that. And so I think that one of the exciting things that I'm excited about this year is the Innovation Summit
Mm-hmm.
and looking at how we can embrace change and how that affects the culture of our organization. And I know you'll be there with me on June 18th. And so I'm looking forward to that. Any last thoughts you want to leave with the listeners?
Really, I mean, I think we left a lot of nuggets on the table. The biggest thing I would tell people, if you are on the fence about joining the Henry County Chamber of Commerce, get off the fence, get into the pool, and come on and play on this amusement park with us. It's a lot of fun. There's a lot of cool programming on the way. We've got the podcast room now. There's so many different ways to promote your business, build relationships, and plant roots for your business here in Henry County with this chamber. So it's a game changer, but you do get out of it what you put into it.
Yeah. And I think, like you alluded to, that there are so many programs and opportunities for people to engage.
Mhm.
You know, it's not just a golf tournament. There's a women's empowerment group.
Right. If golf's not your thing, golf's not my thing.
Yeah,
If golf's
yeah.
not your thing, figure out another thing that you can plug in and get involved with.
Yeah. And I think we're going to ask you back in a couple episodes and have you give us an update on the Emerging Business Leaders Program.
I'm so excited.
Yeah, and I think maybe I can even get Trinity behind the mic and
Come on,
have her
Trinity.
talk to you about that, because I know that it's a passion of hers too. So I want to thank you for your time. I want to thank you for your leadership.
Sure.
And I really appreciate it.
Anything I can do to help.
Thank you, sir.
The Henry Reporter is your local source for what's happening in Henry County. The Henry Reporter lets you know what's going on road projects, new developments, rezoning requests, local government, and new business openings. The Henry Reporter last year shared over 290 articles, and we were the first and only media source to let you know about the state's plan to expand I-75. If you want to learn more about what's going on in our community, check out the Henry Reporter at www.henryga.news.
And now for some of our upcoming events. On May 8th, From Vision to Victory, Leveraging AI for SMART Goals with Judy McMurtry begins at 11:30 a.m. at our Business Resource Center. Discover how to harness the power of AI to define and drive your SMART goals in our second class in the From Vision to Victory series. On May 13th, we have coffee and collaboration at the Business Resource Center with Dr. Gabrielle William, CEO and President of Gateway Direct Health. Beginning at 8 a.m. in the center, you can learn more about Gateway Direct Health from one of Atlanta's top doctors for 2025. On May 15th, we're excited to welcome Mayor Carlos Greer from the city of Locust Grove for Lunch with a Leader. Beginning at 11 a.m. in the Hudgens Room, don't miss this opportunity to hear Mayor Greer's insights for Locust Grove and to connect with local business leaders. May 16th is the first Henry County Armed Forces Day from 10:30 a.m. to 1 p.m. in the Hudgens Room. Enjoy hot dogs, family-friendly fun, and community pride presented with Henry County Veterans Support Group and True North Pest Control. On May 19th, we have a mentorship program open house from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. in the Business Resource Center. Join us for the chance to hear from our mentors and mentees in the first cohort as they share their experiences and the impact of the program on their businesses. Hear their stories, ask your questions, and find out how mentorship can help you take your business to the next level. On May 22nd, we have a business after hours at Benton Village of Stockbridge beginning at 5:30. Don't miss an extraordinary evening of networking, great food, and a celebration of Benton Village at Stockbridge, an award-winning senior living facility. On June 5th, the next program in our From Vision to Victory series is 7 Business Blind Spots with Judy McMurtry. Beginning at 11:30 a.m. in the Business Resource Center, explore the most common areas business leaders overlook in our third class in the From Vision to Victory series. We're excited on June 18th to host our Innovation Summit, Empowering Through Trust, Leadership, and Inclusion. From 8 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. at the Merle Manders Conference Center in Stockbridge, you can join more than 280 businesses and entrepreneurial leaders to discover how fostering a strong, inclusive business culture plays a vital role in driving community and business success. Our presenting sponsor for this event is Truist. Finally, July 21st through the 22nd, we have our Henry County Schools Educator Launch. Chamber members are invited to help welcome some 600 new teachers to Henry County Schools by sponsoring or by providing 600 items representing their business for teacher gift bags. We ask that you not include glass, brochures, or flyers in your gifts. If you need more information, please give us a call at 770-957-5786 or visit henrycounty.com. All right, well, this segment, we're going to talk to Laura Luker, Director of Tourism for Visit Henry. Tell us a little bit about your role and what Visit Henry does.
Well, I like to explain what we do as if we were a marketing agency. When you tell people that you're a convention and visitors bureau or a tourism organization, you kind of get a lot of blank stares. So the easiest way to explain it is if Henry County was the product, then we are the organization or agency responsible for marketing all the things to do, places to eat, where you can stay, where you can shop, to people that may be interested in buying or visiting Henry County.
Okay, well, that's great. So it's not party planning.
It is not party
Okay.
planning, not at all. No, we have a saying in tourism that we do say that we're all tied together. Tourism is economic development, but as it relates specifically to restaurants, hotels, event facilities, retailers, things that bring people into an area or give them a reason to stay or a place to stay while they're here.
Well, that's a really great point that your target market is not Henry County.
No, it is not.
So that might be why we don't get to see a lot of the great things that you do.
I mean, we always say that if we're doing our job right, then you probably don't see 90% of what we do.
Well, let me ask you, what you had talked about an economic development engine.
Mm-hmm.
Can you provide some of the data on the great results of Visit Henry for the community?
Yeah, absolutely. So a lot of our data comes from the Georgia Department of Economic Development. They sanction a report from, I think it's the U.S. Travel Association, and it does typically lag about a year behind. So most of the data we have is from 2023, but according to that data, we saw tourists spend $504 million
Wow.
in Henry County in 2023, and that does place us in the top 10 in terms of tourism spending. So that means that out of 159 counties, visitors, tourists spent more in Henry County than in all but 9 other counties. So
That's amazing. That is amazing. You've brought some things with you today. You want to share those with us?
yes. So this year we have our visitor's guide. So we do one of these every year. And this is our 2024 guide. We just received it in February. But this year we also did it in Spanish so that 50% of the book is actually in English. And then you flip it over and it's back in the same information, but in Spanish. So we're really excited about that. Looking forward to getting some really good data on its usage. We've already gotten some really good feedback on the reception of that, both from the web data as well as from users.
That's great. That's great. And then what else do you have over there?
So we also have Claudia in the Lobster Forest. And, we were talking about things being translated in Spanish. And so we've tried to make that more than just the visitor's guide. We knew that if the guide was going to be in Spanish, then our site would also need to be in Spanish. So when people would come through, they would be able to see it. So we installed a Google Translate feature on the site. And one of the things that we do have on our site is each of our cities have a page.
Mm-hmm.
And proper names don't get translated. Or shouldn't get
Shouldn't.
translated. But in the course of our research for additional marketing programs that are going to translate, it did come to our attention that Locust Grove was being translated as Lobster Forest or Forest of Lobsters.
Okay.
So thus, Claudia in the Lobster Forest. So it started off kind of as a little joke and has become a 4-book series now. We have Jenny and Friends, and she's exploring all throughout Henry County. Just a fun way, hopefully, to kind of take something that was a mistake and make it a fun thing.
Learning experience.
Yeah. And then a fun way to engage children in the learning process as well.
That's great. That's great. You have phenomenal products there, and you are known nationally now for some of the great work you've done. What are some of the great accomplishments that you've done just since I've been here in the last 6 years or so?
So we've had just some really amazing people who've put some amazing things in place. We put a program in place in 2020, where we started it in 2020. It didn't launch until 2021, 2022, called Hospitality for All, which was a 5-part equity inclusion program. We also did a customer service program called Guest Experience 101. So it was an online program that people could participate. It had experts, speaking on these topics. We have our Bushy Tail Art Trail, which is a series of 31 small picnic tables that are attached to trees or buildings as a way to showcase art. And as part of that same group that's developing public art, which is the Arts Consortium, they also have facilitated a mural in Locust Grove, a mural in Heritage Park, and we just recently handed over 4 pieces of art to the city of Hampton that are telling the story of the Rosenwald School that was in Hampton. We have over 1 million visitors that are coming to visit Henry County. And when they come, they're spending money here, not just at the hotels and not just, through getting gas, across the whole spectrum of the experiences that they have. While they pay a sales tax, they also pay the E-Splost, the T-Splost, all of the different things. And in 2023, tourist paid about $32 million in state and local taxes. So we, Henry County, get 50% of that in various splosts. So that's about $60 million that's split out amongst the E-Splost, the T-Splost, the regular splost, and the lost taxes. Things like improvements for schools, the new beautiful recreation center that just got built at Mount Carmel. All of those things are in part funded through visitor spending. And so it's a win-win.
Absolutely. Any other thoughts that you want as we wrap up? I want to thank you for your time, but
Yeah.
if there's anything that you want to add.
Actually, this week is National Travel and Tourism Week. May 4th through the 10th is a national celebration of the contributions of tourism and how it is an economic engine for the nation as a whole. But it's specifically huge here in Henry County. So I appreciate that opportunity. You can find out more about what we're doing this week to honor that and to celebrate National Travel and Tourism Week on our website, which is visithenrycountygeorgia.com. And it is all spelled out. There are no shortcuts here. And our Facebook page by the same name. So.
All right. Well, wonderful. Thank you. That was Laura Luker with Visit Henry, Director of Tourism. And now we welcome Clayton Cart with the Henry Reporter for an update on local news.
Hello, Henry County. This is Clayton Cart with the Henry Reporter, sharing local news about Henry County since 2017. Let's take a look at some of our recent news around the county. Henry County Board of Commissioners held a ribbon cutting at the brand new North Mount Carmel Recreation Center. The North Mount Carmel Recreation Center is located at North Mount Carmel Park in Hampton. It is open Monday through Saturday and closed on Sunday. The Recreation Center has 2 full-size basketball courts, meeting rooms, a fitness area and walking track, and, in a first for Henry County, a video game room. The game room has desktop gaming consoles and gaming devices available for use with a membership. Residents can stop by the Recreation Center to take a tour, learn more, and sign up for a membership. The Henry County Board of Commissioners will also be resurfacing about 85 miles of county roads later this year. The roads are located throughout the county and includes major corridors like Eagles Landing Parkway, Kellytown Road, and Keys Ferry Road. The county is presently accepting construction bids through mid-May from interested contractors, and the Board of Commissioners could consider awarding a contract as early as June for the various resurfacing. For Henry County Schools, the Henry County School District recently held a groundbreaking for the STEM High School. The brand new STEM High School is located in downtown Stockbridge at the site of the former Patrick Henry High School. The new STEM High School will open its doors in August 2027 and offer students an advanced academic curriculum in science, engineering, aerospace, and biomedical sciences. The STEM High School's construction is being paid for with Education SPLOS at a cost of $73 million. Henry County Schools is also celebrating the accomplishments of its existing high schools. The school district saw 9 local high schools recognized as 2025 AP Honor Schools. The school district saw schools place in 7 out of the 8 available categories. Ola High School had the most recognitions, being named in 6 categories, followed by Union Grove and Woodland High Schools, named in 5 categories. For those that may be wondering about the 8th category recognizes small and medium-sized high schools, therefore none of our local schools would be eligible. Finally, Henry County's SPLOST 6 program has recently began on April 1st, 2025. The local sales tax program was approved by voters in November 2024, and it will pay for capital projects and road improvements over the next 6 years through 2031. Henry County estimates the program to collect about $470 million over the 6-year period. This has been the Henry Reporter, sharing local news about Henry County since 2017. Be sure and visit our website for all of the latest happenings around our community at www.henryga.news.
And now we come to the part where we get to highlight the program and accomplishments of many of our members. Take it away, Leonard.
The HW3 Foundation is holding the 2025 Empowerment Leadership Boot Camp from June the 2nd through June 13th at Shiloh Baptist Church. The free boot camp serves more than 100 youth between 9 and 19 and creates an awareness in careers ranging from cybersecurity to aviation, maintenance, and more. Henry County recently opened its new multi-generational recreation center at Mount Carmel Park in Hampton. Funded through SPLOST 5 program, the center features a cafe, state-of-the-art gaming room, art room, 2 indoor basketball courts, a fitness center, as well as meeting rooms. The Henry County Water Authority is offering paid summer internships for rising high school juniors and seniors. The program runs June 2nd through July 25th and includes career exploration in water, quality management, and maintenance, as well as IT, purchasing, and inventory, and reservoirs and grounds. Daddy Everyday Incorporated has launched a $10,000 fundraiser to open a fatherhood community center in Henry County. Designed to guide fathers through the challenges of fatherhood, the program will offer mentorship, job preparation programs, financial literacy workshops, mental health support, and more. For information, visit daddyeveryday.org. Aspiring childcare entrepreneurs are invited to join the Southern Crescent Technical College Child Care Business and Entrepreneurship Lab. The transformative 6-month program starts June 2025. Offering a comprehensive blueprint for building financial viable businesses, the program guides participants through the licensing process and connects them to potential startup capital.
Local businesses, are you looking to reach a new audience that is known and lives here in the Henry County community? Reach out to the Henry Reporter about local ad opportunities. We have an established following after over 8 years in business, and we would love to let you know more about ways to advertise your business and let potential customers here in Henry County know what you have to offer.
If you are interested in discussing membership benefits or sponsorship opportunities, please contact our team at 770-957-5786 or at henrycounty.com. And join us next week for more member and community news, as well as a conversation on our Resource Center's mentorship program. Until next time, stay connected, stay inspired, and keep growing with us at the Henry County Chamber.